How you doing, my man?
Not good. Not good. That sucked.
It was
Um,
absolutely brutal, but then once it got into the later parts, like if you saw me, I may have scared you off of the show. But once the inning went on, because I was just absolutely raging in frustration, but then once it got towards the end, I was starting to actually just accept it. And it got to the point I was like, you know what? Respect to Max Scherzer because everyone was writing him off. The whole national mainstream media was writing him off. I know Mariners fans like, oh, Max Scherzer, whatever. He's nobody. He's an old man. Blah. And then he looked like Max Scherzer of 2019 with the Nationals. And the other thing I respected about him, and this is coming from a diehard Mariners fan who absolutely despises the Blue Jays, I do give Max Scherzer a lot of credit and respect for saying, "I got this. Sit down." I wish there were some of our Mariners stars would do that. There were times I wanted to do that, but the point is, Mariners got absolutely just humiliated for the second straight game. And what I was worried about in game two, like I shouldn't say this, but I saw a lot of social media posts because I go on social media too much. I really should get off of social media, but everyone was talking about, well, I don't want to play the Dodgers. I want to play the. I'm like, can we win game three at least? And then eventually now saying, can we win game four? And now we're at a point where can we even win a game at all? And especially the performance that we saw today, it was embarrassing. Like, sure, Mariners got off to a great start. It looked like they were okay for the first maybe couple innings. Josh Naylor hit a home run. I was thinking, okay, maybe we can get something going. And then immediately after that, that was just erased with the Blue Jays scoring 3 runs. That started with a home run by Jimenez. And then Varsho walked, and that was when Gabe Spire got taken out. And that made it a 3-1 lead. And then the fourth inning, we got George Springer. And that frustrating part was when I was literally screaming on my camera, going, "Hey, you should probably intentionally walk Springer because you got a man on second. At least you can go up against someone that's not as threatening like Springer and Guerrero." And Dan Wilson didn't do that. He thought,
or or
yeah,
or go brash if you're going to pitch to Springer. I mean, you brought him in anyways, right? So like, if you're going to pitch to Springer, there, go with the better option. I can maybe stomach not walking him because there's a chance you could not face Vlad then. But I'm with you. If you're going to leave Spire in, then walk him, face Luke's, and if you're going to pitch to him, go to Brash. But it's like there's the third option, which is exactly what you can't do there. That's pitch to him with Spire. So, I mean, but yeah, everything he said. And I think today hurt a little bit more for me, obviously, because it's, now it's 2-2. But today felt more winnable. Like there was some chances. I'm sure you'll talk about Josh Naylor making the out at third. You never know. Tying run up there. Maybe someone gets into one, ties the game. Or Leo Rivas getting picked off with Cal Raleigh at the plate down by 2. I mean, just so many stupid things. And that just drives me nuts. I can stomach getting outplayed. And they did get outplayed, obviously, but like I can let it go. But man, when there's so many just boneheaded plays, it just makes it so frustrating. And to have that in the ALCS is just so disappointing.
it's just inexcusable. Like, it really just is. And like, I am just at a loss of words. Like, literally just barely 48 hours ago, or no, even just 24
less,
hours ago,
less, yeah.
less than 24 hours ago, we were like, okay, Mariners are up 2-0. There is a chance, but
And
there was
Julio
just
hits the
that.
home run.
And even then, there was that very small part of me. I was like, okay, but the Mariners they got to stay locked in. They got to stay dialed in. They cannot give, like, I see the show Cobra Kai, Karate Kid show. They always say no mercy, and I'm always a believer. Like, if you're beating up a team, no mercy. You cannot let up. Cannot be content. You gotta you gotta just throw them away. And yesterday's loss, I know that you're naturally supposed to say, "Oh, it's just one game." Like, it was just a bad loss. But when we're in the ALCS high pressure situation, I don't think. Now, if the Mariners got beat up like that in a regular season, I'll be like, okay, everyone has a bad day. But we're in ALCS where everything is absolutely precious, and that was why. I mean, there's a small part of me that was still like, okay, maybe just a bad day, but you really now like now the pressure is on for game 4. And then, and even if you win game 4, pressure is on for game 5. Because even if theoretically you're up, if you didn't win game 5, let's play this out. Mariners had, if they won this game, they would have been 3-1. You still are going to have the pressure to win game 5 because you don't want to go to, because if you don't win, you go to Toronto and anything can happen when you're in an even higher pressure situation. But I didn't even get to complain about that. But that's why, like, when we were up 2-0, I was like, okay, but pressure's still on because you still got to win your games. And the other thing that the 2-3-2 format makes it tougher because if you don't win any of those games, you're not going to get another chance. Like, at least in the NBA, there's like 2-2, 1-1-1. At least you get, if you're the team that doesn't have the home court advantage, at least you have game 6 to like be there for you. But there's a reason why it's 2-3-2, and there's a reason why home field advantage is absolutely even more critical in the playoffs, and just disappointing. And also, I think we can all agree that Dan Wilson's bullpen decisions were very questionable. I think if things were going to get out of hand, then why didn't you just put in like Emerson Hancock like even earlier? And now you just burned out. I mean, let's see which pitchers they even used today. They used Gabe Spire. He's probably not available tomorrow. He pitched 32 pitches, got absolutely beat up. I mean, Matt Brasher can still use him, only 10 pitches. Yeah. Bizzardo, 19 pitches, so that's going to be questionable at best. Whatever you're going to use him, but
because he didn't pitch the last couple of days, so I think he'll be fine. Spire's probably the only one, maybe, that would be down. I the only thing I really thought Dan did wrong was pitching to Springer. I thought that was kind of like I said, there was a few options you could do there, and he picked the worst one of all of those. Other than that, I mean, I didn't mind going to Bizzardo once he cut it to 3, see if he can keep you in it, and then went to Hancock to finish it out, and yeah, that 2-3-2 format too, I think is interesting because it's funny after they won the first 2, it's like, it sounds great. Hey, come home for 3, win the series. Now it's like, hey, I'd rather go to Toronto tomorrow or for game 5. And then maybe if you steal that one, hey, then you can come home and win the series. You know what I mean? Like, maybe there's a chance. So yeah, it's kind of funny how that plays out.
Well, luckily, we don't have to say too much about it because I don't think the next CBA is going to even include making that change anyway. But I think we've pretty much already discussed what it's going to be or how this game has gone. Bad base running, questionable decision by Dan Wilson to just not, because I was clearly saying, like, I went all the way back there, I think, and I was screaming, intentionally walk George Springer because he's been dialing up the Mariners. He did it in his days in Houston. And it's like, why would you even give him that chance? Which they did. And then Josh Naylor, we haven't talked about that enough. For some reason, he went to third base. And we all thought that Polanco was going to score. And Kevin Kirby in my show, he made an interesting point where it's like, well, maybe he was just trying to decoy himself to at least get Suarez home. But even then, you still don't do that. And the crazier part about it, when they showed the replay, that run almost didn't count. Because had Polanco not put his foot on the base and Naylor gets tagged, that run does not count. That's the scary part. So that's how much worse the game could have been. And now going into tomorrow, you got Bryce Miller. He's been pitching very well in the playoffs, but the problem is Mariners are also going up against someone that's just as competent, if not more, in their best starter in Kevin Gausman. So tomorrow the pressure is really going to be there. All I can say is Mariners they got to play smart baseball. It seems that they're just not playing smart baseball at all. And if they don't, next thing you know, you could be down 2-3. But even if you're up 3-2, you still have the daunting idea that you're going to Toronto. Like, this is going to Toronto no matter what, and that is the last thing I think any of us wanted, was for them to burn more jet fuel to go to Toronto.
I'd certainly rather go though up 3-2 than down 3-2. At least up 3-2. Go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
I mean, if you're up 3-2, great, but then there's the pressure still there. Now, if you're down 3-2, then oh shoot, you better win your last 2 games because you'll have to win 2 games. But I think if it makes anyone feel better, I guess we have seen series where the road teams win all of their games. We have seen that in Major League Baseball, but we don't even want to depend on that either, because given the Mariners' heavy amount of volatility, and I don't really have much to say going into Game 5. I just saying that they just got to play much more smart baseball. They cannot make base running like that, and it still seemed that the Mariners offense was still all about trying to hit bombs. Like, we heard it from John Smoltz. He's like, hey, the Mariners should actually try to, get on base, like carve them up, like just like what the Blue Jays did. Like, they play very smart, small ball baseball, like just frustrating because when you keep swinging for fences, like it's really hard to hit home runs in these days, no matter how talented you are. But we saw it. Suarez, some are saying that his swing now just looks even slower. And
Oh,
then we're
yeah.
seeing Cal Raleigh still trying to hit bombs. Julio still trying to hit bombs. So tomorrow, I mean, we've been saying it, small ball baseball. And maybe this is just a crazy opinion. And I know that Dan Wilson is just not going to do it. But take Randy Rosarena out of the leadoff spot, because numbers do prove it. As a leadoff hitter, he bats 218, 302 on base percentage. While everything else, he's a 368 as batting third. He's a 224 batting fourth, but I can still stomach that at least. And then he's a 277 hitter when he's batting fifth. And I know that I get it. Dan Wilson's not going to do it, but I still was always against the idea of Randy Rosarena being against. I was against the idea of him being a leadoff hitter. And I think it's showing that, because he has heavily struggled in the playoffs. He's the complete opposite of his 2020 counterpart when he was with the Rays.
Yeah, it's like bizarro world, Randy, in the playoffs this year. And I mean, some of the at bats too. I mean, I think he did have one ball he hit pretty well, if I remember correctly, into left field. But man, some of the swings, he's taking fastballs right down the middle. Then he's chasing a slider that's not even close. I mean, it's just tough. And like Gino as well. I mean, I guess Gino did at least check in with an RBI single. Unfortunately, with Gino, just nothing you can really do, right? I mean, Ben Williamson's not on the roster, so you're not going to play him. Not going to start Mastroboni, at third base in a playoff game. So, I mean, you just got to hope they're better. One good thing is if they can win tomorrow, I certainly, obviously now we have to go back to Toronto no matter what. So that's not even, a question. You do have them throw Gosman tomorrow. You win that, you're one away. You go into Toronto. Maybe there's a little pressure on them. Game 6, Logan's going. So you never know, right? I mean, it's still there, and still a good opportunity for this team. It is crazy. Like, this series does not feel tied 2-2, right? Like, it feels like we're down like 11-0 in this series. I mean,
Yeah,
it is crazy. Like, had they lost the first two and won these last two, we'd be flying high going, man, we can take the series lead tomorrow. But because you lose the first two, it is crazy. And the sequencing there obviously matters, right? Because we were 2 wins away and coming back home, and now you've got to go back to Toronto. But it is just wild how the way the wins losses fall can just make you feel so. I mean, it just does not feel tied to me. Like, I feel like we are down.
I do. And I know that I'm not supposed to say that all these Mariner fans already talking about the World Series after up 2-0. I'm I'm supposed to say that they're not going to be the reason why the Mariners stink. It's not, we're not supposed to believe in like a jinx, even though I'm like a very superstitious person. But at the same time, I do acknowledge that Mariners fans' social media post has no bearing on how the Mariners do. And I do acknowledge that, even though I'm a very superstitious person. Like when I at a Bible study, like my friend was like, "Hey, I want to pray for the Mariners that they will go to the World Series." I'm like, bro, we can't do that, because think about all the other Toronto fans that are also praying that the Blue Jays don't don't lose. And I
Or
was
the
like, yeah,
Rockies fans.
yeah. So I'm like, which is why I don't believe in praying for a team to win, because I just don't think how that works. Like, you don't pray for stuff like that, because everyone else is like, well, I'm praying for my Blue Jays. I'm praying for this team. What about my team? So, anyways, I know it's going a little bit on the tangent, and reason why I'm always like on edge on these shows is we have seen it before. 95, 97, 2000, 2001, 2022. We've either seen one of two things after each season. Either they trade away or get rid of any key players, or they just remain complacent and don't do anything after that. And I think I forgot to say 2001 as well. So that's why if there are any Mariners fans out there, including people on my show that are like, man, doom and gloom, we suck, this is over. Given the past history, I'm not going to judge them for it. Like, I'm not going to just say you're a negative Nancy. Like, everyone has the right and opinion on this channel and yours as well. They can say that we're doomed, we're screwed, F this team. And I'm also welcoming the people that will say, oh no, believe in this team. We got this. Like, you're welcome too. I'm going to say I disagree, but I'm not going to think of anyone any lower than the other person with that kind of opinion. So I thought this is just a reminder to everyone that everyone's opinions are welcome as long as personal attacks are not inflicted on each other and myself. And in case it's you, Jay Trident Podcast, I mean, it's pretty hard to hate on you, but you got that beard, so they're like, you cool, man. I'm trying to make a new brand. Like, you got the beard, and I'm trying to build my
The
helmet as
mask.
the mask as the brand.
It's got like a
But
goalie mask feel too. Yeah, listen, I will say, like, I mean, I certainly won't give up. I mean, it is 2-2. I mean, we've made it this far. We might as well keep going a little bit here. We've been through worse. I mean, in terms of just unwatchable baseball. But yeah, like, it's hard for me to sit here and say, hey, everything's fine. I mean, it feels like it's slipping away. Like, even game 4 in Detroit didn't hurt as much as this does right now, because that was just one game. Detroit gotcha. It was frustrating that we had to face Scooble. We were coming back home. Like, it was just more the Scooble factor there that made it so daunting. Coming back for game 5 didn't really bother me that much. This one, just now, you've got to. I mean, I do think they have to win tomorrow. I won't give up if they lose. Might as well see this thing out. But man, if they don't win tomorrow, I just I just don't
it's
like
gonna
have a
look
lot of
bleak, and
hope.
then yeah, it's just gonna look bleak if they don't win tomorrow. I mean, it's a given. Like, I was already like, if they don't win game 3, the pressure's already gonna be set for game 4 and 5 because winning 2 in a row in the playoffs is very difficult. And today I was like, well, you got to win if you don't want to go to Toronto. So either way, the pressure was going to be on, and there's a reason why when it's 2-0 or 3-0, you don't make World Series plans when it's like just because you're up 2-0 or even 3-0. And Alex Rodriguez, who 2004 will tell you that even if you're up 3-0, like
Yeah,
you still got to win your games. And I'm not saying that. And again, I'm not saying that Mariners fans are like these comments of like. And again, I do blame myself for reading too much social media. But when it's playoffs, of course, I can't take my eyes off of it. But I'm not going to blame them for feeling that way, but it's also like, well, hey, you got to win your games. But bottom line is, Mariners have to play their game tomorrow. They got to win. They got to be dialed in, locked in, play smart baseball, make smart decisions, and go for that kill on the Blue Jays to go up 3-2 so they can at least go to Toronto up 3-2 rather than being down 3-2. And another positive thing, if the Mariners do win tomorrow, it will be a new record for them where they will have won their third
that's
game for the first time in ALCS Mariners history.
literally one win away from the best season ever in franchise history. One
And
more
yet,
win and we've done it.
with the possibility of like, oh man, we just lost. So
Right.
obviously, like, yeah,
We got to
go
laugh
ahead.
though, right? I mean, you got to laugh a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously, like, if the Mariners lose, it's not like I'm not going to cancel my shows. Like, I'm still going to do it. And let's say for the worst, because I'm scared of the off season, because I've seen all the other off seasons. Like, even if they, let's say, blow it up and everything, even though I shouldn't think about that, I'm not going to give up on the Mariners for that. Like, I'm still going to like do my live streams. Like, I have still have an ambitious goal of going for 100 next year. I really do. And I think I have every chance to do that next year, and I do
Absolutely.
expect to reach that goal. So Mariners could lose 100 games. Mariners could be World Series winners, and bottom line is that camera is still right in front of me, and you are still collaborating, and we're still going to spring training baseball. So I
Absolutely.
know I'm the doom and gloom guy, but we all got to be behind our team for
Yeah.
tomorrow, whether you cheer for them or whether you boo for them, whether however you want to do it. But the Mariners again, make sure you win game 5. And I think that's it. I think that's all I've got to say because there wasn't really much to really cover about this game. And hopefully this is like a good warm up for you for everything that you need to say for your show. And by the way, right after the show, please await Jay Trident podcast, obviously. And another ask, if you are going to game 5, use my promo code RoofTopSports to get $20 off the purchase, and use, what's your code?
JS Trident. You know what? I'm not even sure if it's active. I got to get back on there. So just use Rooftop Sports. And if you're a Blue Jays fan and now you've got game 6, use that as well in Toronto. I don't know if is it eligible in Canada?
We'll see. Well, you know what, Blue Jays fans? If you really want to flood my stadium, even though I don't like it when you do it, at least
use the code.
At least use the code so I can at least I'm not putting a crisis to waste.
Yeah, listen, if you're gonna destroy us, like I'll take a little, referral for it.
At least give me the piece of the pie. But well, anyways, that's gonna be it. And kudos to you, Jay Trident Podcast, for willing me to let me be here, and also kudos to myself for screaming in rage, because at least that helped me get ready to be a lot more objective and like more even keel for this post game show. And all the fans that were here, shout out to all of you for being here, and shout out to yourselves for willing to listen to me. And I shout out to myself for being here for fans that just wanted to say we suck, we're doomed, or believe in this team. Everyone have a good night, and in painful words, go Mariners.